Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for school, SKOOL, and this is the CPS school.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host. And tonight we are here to fight CPS and stop taking our children. You heard me right. I'm here to help you. I'm a family man, a father of 6 children. And unfortunately, at the age of 60, when I lost my job, I had to spend the next 5 years trying to look for work, but also answering the calls from CPS. Apparently, and I did not know at the time, my in-laws, my wife's mother and father and 3 sisters and brothers were calling in once a week saying things that weren't true. And for 5 years, I held them off. But unfortunately, in 2015, they trafficked my children into foster care. And I'll explain to you about that later. But I'm trying to tell you a little bit about something me. I care about every one of you. I'm a loving father, a loving dad, a husband, and I have 42 years of marriage experience. A lot of life skills, a lot of different jobs. I've been working for 60 years. 60 years of working at odds ends jobs. I'm still working as I speak. I'm trying to find a career job, a job that will pay me something to pull me out of my hole that I'm in. Unfortunately, I'm having now computer issues. First, it was my car. My rear brakes are giving out. All I got is front brakes. The transmission has 2 small controls that needs to be fixed. It's starting to get really rough starting, so I need a tune-up. Also need an oil change. All those things are expenses that for little salary that I do get at Bangladesh wages, it's hard for me to repair them. It really is hard. Anyway, that tells you a little about something me. But you heard about a great man who just talked about CPS a little bit. He has a lot of programs. That man is Vincent W. Davis. He has over 39 years of fighting CPS. He was once in foster care himself. He also is a trial attorney. Furthermore, once your case is closed, and if you're looking for an attorney to do a civil lawsuit, he's the man. He has won millions of dollars suing CPS both in state court and federal court. You know, violations of your constitutional right, violations of your civil rights, perjury, committing perjury while on the stand by a social worker. There's so many lawsuits that can be done, but it's very hard to find an attorney. And Mr. Davis is that individual. Now, I have a number up on the screen, 888-888-6582. That is my law offices of Vincent W. Davis Associates. That's where you can reach Mr. Davis. You want to retain him right now. Also, you can get a new guide that's out that he's created. It's a guide about how grandparents can get their grandkids and how they can see them and so forth. It's an excellent guide. It's on sale for $9.99, but if you use the code PACE, all capital letters 50, you'll get it off at half price for $5. And any of you grandparents are listening, this is for you. This is for you. Now, also, if you want to hire other attorneys for other legal matters, that's the number. Now, soon I will put my number up so that you can call in and talk to me. Now, I see that we have some people in the room here. I'm trying to see if I can get myself a little bit bigger here with the fonts here. Okay. I'm going to try. That didn't work. Let me go back down a space here. Nope. 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 No, I think I got to be at about 67%. So that way I can read the fonts here. Well, maybe we can go up a little bit higher here. Okay. So right now, it's a little after 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. You found me on Facebook, Fight CPS Bob Pace. And I'm glad you joined me. There are 8 rooms, including this room, that you can participate in. There's 7 rooms on Facebook and 1 on YouTube. And you can find me by just looking up Fighting CPS. They all, when I'm live, they all are together simultaneously. So if you're in one room or another room, it makes no difference. Whatever you ask a question shows up here. It shows up here. So when you text a message to me, whether it's a comment or a question, it's in this room here. And so to find me, I'm on twice a day, 7 days a week. I've been doing this continuously since October of 2023. I have over 800 podcasts that I've done. And I've talked close to 900 some people. And that's people from around the world and from the United States. The countries that have text messages in, and I welcome everybody from around the world. This is an international podcast, long as you have internet. I have Bangladesh. I have India. I have 2 countries from the Middle East. And then I have 6 countries from Africa. And I got 7 countries from Europe. And then across the pond, I got 3 countries from North America. That's Canada, the U.S., and all 50 states, including Washington, D.C., have all texted in or called me. Then there's Mexico. Then in South America, I got 1 country down there. And then across the Pacific, I have Australia and several states, the Gold Coast area and Melbourne area, the state of Victoria. And then I have New Zealand. And everyone that has called in has been really professional and nice to me and nice to the room. They've also been beneficial to the help that I can give you. I do give you good ideas. I tell you about 5 rules to fight CPS. They work. Now, unfortunately, I did not know about them when my case came up. And unfortunately, I lost one of my 3 children. Now, 3 children of mine were taken in, were trafficking into foster care in 2015, May of 2015. And it was a sad state of affairs because what was facing my dilemma is I did not know how corrupt CPS is or the local police or how they want our children for the sole purpose of making trillions of dollars It's a $1 trillion business, not billion, not million, trillions of dollars they make. And they have all kinds of things going for them. They have the Clinton's Incentive Act of 1994 that I heard that it's been taken down because there was no more family reunification. Studies have shown that the best parents are the biological parents. So if the family can be repaired through taking parenting classes or programs, they should make family reunification a top priority. And it should not take a year. It should be done. I think it could be done in 6 months, but they want to stretch it out because of the money. Also, a lot of the CPS workers are very corrupt. I'm not saying all of them are. I've had on my show a total of 4 social workers that work with CPS, and they each had different stories. One was from Maryland, another one was from Iowa, and then another one was from Illinois, and the latest one is actually from Montana. So these social workers, some are foster care parents, some actually work in as case managers and so forth. They've been on my show and they talked about it. So I'm not saying all CPS is bad, but so far there's over 800 of you that say so, and including myself, because I have firsthand experience. So I'm in this room to help you all work out your problems or differences. Now, I just got my phone fixed, so you can call me. You know, phone is live at 626-698-0990. And so you can call me on that. In fact, I'll put my number up right now at the moment here. There's my number. It's my business number. It's been out. We use Vonage, which is the internet application. So my phone is done on the internet. And that way you can call in and talk to me on that number. You can also text on that number too. So with that being said, I like to first start off with, again, talk a little bit about Mr. Davis. As I told you, he is a juvenile family dependency lawyer. That's his expertise. You're now what's called dependency law, which utilizes juvenile and family. So all three go together. All three go together. That's the laws that you have to work with. Criminal law won't help you here. Immigration law won't help you. All those other areas are great. Vincent has attorneys that help you with your immigration needs or anything else you have. So that's the number, 888-888-6582. Now, my number is up there, 626-698-0990. So that means I can take calls. I only take calls during my show hours. And so my show hours I'm on twice a day. First time at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's Pacific time for 1 hour. Then at nighttime, I'm on at 7 o'clock Pacific time for 1 hour. And I do that regimentally every day. It is hard, a lot, to do that. I've never done anything where you have to prepare for 2 shows a day. It's like, I guess I know what the news workers feel like or other TV shows, because this is a live podcast, broadcast from my home. My studio is my home. And sometimes I've been out. Sometimes I broadcast from Starbucks or FedEx or other places that have internet there. But I'm 3 blocks from the ocean. It's a short walk to the beach. I'm in Surf City, USA in California. And my attorney, Vincent Davis, works out of Arcadia. He has cases in Orange County and LA County next to each other. And then he has Riverside and San Bernardino County. Then he's got Northern California. He'll go anywhere there's a case. He also has a case in Oklahoma. And I know he's worked other states too. So he's one of those pit bull attorneys that knows how to get your kids back. So I strongly recommend him. And I have some great news. I see a long lost friend who's been gone for 2 days. She came into the room. Her name is Grace. And I'm so happy to see her because she was in the hospital a couple days ago. And I've been worried to death. I've been praying for her. And I was truly missing her because she works really hard behind the scenes. And so welcome back, Grace. And thank you for being here. And thank you for making my shows possible. I appreciate that. And so anyway, we got Grace back, which is good news. I'm so happy with that. Now we have someone just came in the room. Oh, we have lots of people that came in the room. Boy, they were quiet when they came in. I didn't hear them. We have like 9 people. Oh, I'm so glad. Well, first at the top of the list was Tessa. And Tessa is from Northern California. Her and her husband had a case on the 2nd of January that is working really good for her. The advice that I gave her, and she also talked to Mr. Davis for 15 minutes, helped her with her case. And she's got 2 other court dates, but it looks good that she'll get her children back. Her case was that she has seizures. And one of the times she was having a seizure, her husband was helping her, but it looked from a neighbor who looked through a window, called, I guess they called the CPS and said that her husband is beating up on his wife, which was not the case. But she had a sheriff who came by and checked everything out. She also has her doctor that tells you she has seizures. But the social workers of CPS are ignorant. They're not really, they want the money part. They don't believe her. So she has a court-appointed attorney, and she's forcing that court-appointed attorney to do his job. Otherwise, he'll be sued. And I'm talking about neglect there, because the court-appointed attorneys you get, or the public defenders you get, are most of the time not going to fight for your case. Their caseload is 30 or more clients. So they don't have time. They're also not trained in juvenile family dependency law. They're in criminal law. They're paid by social services and hired by social services. Now, I keep talking about social services, but the CPS that I call is the Child Protection System. And every social service in every county in the United States and around the world, CPS is a part of that agency. Congress mandated that our children are protected from neglect or abuse. And so they made a branch of social services. The only thing is, every county is different. It's like in Prescott, Arizona, it's called the Department of Children's Services, DCF. Yes. In Richmond, Kentucky, it's called the Cabinet. In California, even 2 counties next to each other. Orange County is called CPS, Child Protection Services. And next door to LA County, it's called the Department of Children and Family Services. So say here, talking about 25 different acronyms, I just say CPS. That means Child Protection System. So that's who we're dealing with. It's a branch of social services. They're entrusted to protect our children from neglect or abuse. Further, if families are in need, they're supposed to provide food and shelter and clothing and transportation, education and medical, and also help you find a job. Furthermore, if they need to break up the family, they're supposed to do family reunification, bring the families back together. If a parent screwed up, there's programs that they can take, and there's classes they can take. So I emphasize it to you all that it's really important that you utilize these services, ahead. I did not know anything. When my children were taken in 2015, 3 of my 6, I did not know that CPS was bad. I did not know you needed an attorney. I did not know they cannot enter your home. They cannot take your child. They cannot do the things they try to do. They try to muscle with police. They have the police come out with their combat boots and their bulletproof vests and their ornament and so forth. They look very intimidating. The only reason why they're there is, 2 things. One is to protect the CPS workers, because a lot of CPS workers have been accosted or beat up or something like that. Furthermore, there's supposed to be an intimidation factor. Try to make you turn over your kids. They need your permission to get your kids. They need your permission to get in the house. They need your permission to talk to them or tell them about your case. Remember that. Remember that. The only way they can take your kids, get into your house, or talk to you is with a warrant. They have to have a legitimate warrant. That's my rule number 3, is you do not talk to social workers or police. You do not open your door. You do not answer your door. Too many people are being killed by answering the door. So we don't want to do that. Now, I do want to get to the rest of the people here. We talked about Tessa. We have somebody named, let me see here. We have Laura Hale, and she's from a YouTube. How do I prove OPS or CPS negligence in California? Well, first of all, you get an attorney. That's your first step. And I don't mean a court-appointed attorney. I mean a real attorney, a pit bull of attorney. Now, to get an attorney, you all out there, you should get quotes from 3 attorneys. One of them can be Vincent Davis, and he'll gladly talk to you for 15 minutes for free if you call on my podcast or a guest on my podcast. He'll give you 15 minutes of private consultation. Tessa did it. You can ask Tessa in this room how it went with Mr. Davis. He's not a clock watcher, but he'll help you navigate and talk to it. So if you want to prove negligence, you got, if this is a lawsuit, you can't do anything till your case is closed. But if it's not a lawsuit and your case is open, then you can prove negligence by doing different things with your attorney, such as filing a 388 with new information. You're going to have to prove the negligence. That is hard, but that is more a civil suit than a dependency lawsuit that you're trying to do. It's not a criminal matter. It's not dependency law. It's a civil suit. So you need to look at that. Also, I don't know where you're from. Okay, and you say you don't have the money. I know that is the problem. That's the most common problem, Lauren. I jumped ahead, and there's so many people here. I need to play catch up to all the people here. Sometimes messages from other rooms come in before I get a chance to talk to people here. So let me go through and catch up now. Okay, we talked to Tessa. And let me see. We talked down to Lauren Hale. Could you tell me where you're from, Lauren Hale? Let me do this. Let me turn off my phone number for a moment and tell you what you need to do here. You need to do, when you're typing in a message about a comment or a question to CPS, please show me your first name, your city or your county, your state, and if you're from another country, your country. Also try to be complete about your case. So that would help out there. Now, Tessa says, hi, Laura. She's going to help you. She says, hi, Laura. I'd recommend taking pictures and documenting everything. Good point, Tessa. People in this room will help you. The question is, Laura, what kind of negligence? Now, Laura says, okay, I was also threatened by a county worker at my last visit. You have to document everything. When your case is closed, you can sue them for being abrasive. There's nothing you can do about right now, the moment if you have an open case. It's sad, but they're very corrupt. Tessa says, do you have any record of that? You need to do records. Thank you, Tessa. Tessa further says, other than your word against theirs. That's going to be the hard thing. That's going to be a hard thing. So you need witnesses. Okay. Laura, my 20-month-old has been sick the entire 3 months. He's been gone, and now all 3 are very sick. My caseworker is ignoring all my concerns. That is terrible, Laura. I have no idea where you're from. If you could tell me your city and your state, that would be great, or your county, Laura. Tessa says they're going to tell you to go up the chain of command. Have you made complaints to the supervisor and the director in charge of your county? then you're going to have to go to the state, to the civil rights coordinator or the ombudsperson, or you have to go to health and welfare at the federal level. There's a complaint you need to make. And that's a good point, Tessa. Thank you, Tessa, for sharing that. Okay, now I've got these rooms coming in now. So I have to go through the rooms and get back to my comments now. Hold on, I'll get there. I'm so glad my computer's working for the moment. It seems if I run it too long, it dies. So hopefully for the hour for the show, we should be okay. Laura further says they've taken due to drugs found in the home. And even though the officers removed the threat, my kids were still taken, and they say it's due to my substance abuse, even though I'm not on any substance. Well, let me tell you something about drugs. Drugs, if you're going to have children, I'm sorry to say you got to do some sacrifices. You can't do drugs, you can't smoke cigarettes, and you can't smoke weed, and you can't do alcohol, because all those things are bad for children. If you're going to raise children, it's more appropriate to abstinence from those things. I know it's hard on you, but those things will get you in trouble because they're going to say that you're negligent to kids. What happens if one of your children ingests one of your drugs? Let's say they swallow cocaine or they eat some of your drugs there. They're going to get terribly sick and ill. That's why they take your children. But it's not a hopeful loss. You take a drug rehab program and you learn about the effects of drugs and so forth. And they have classes you can take. Also, there's parenting classes that you take. You develop a program. One of the things I want to emphasize you all is to start doing a settlement conference at the beginning of your case. I know the laws, depending, vary from state to state. In Michigan, they try a settlement conference. That's where you meet with a social worker and your attorney. And you sit down and you work up a game plan to get your kids back. That's before you go to dependency court. It's so important to do that. Also, if they need to take your children, you tell them they can stay with family members. There's an organization called ICPC. That's a national organization. They'll transfer children to and from the state safely. So you need to look into a settlement conference there and so forth. But drugs is very serious, and that's why the children were taken. Tessa says, did you do a drug test? Yes, Tessa. Laura, you need to get a hold of your doctor and have your drug test done. They're going to try to let them use theirs, and theirs will fail you because they are paid by the CPS. They're very corrupt, these people are. Again, I don't know where you're located, so as soon as you tell me, I can tell you how good the area is. Now, Laura says, I started the complaints and went to the news. Well, going public is okay. But you really, when you start making waves, they will get worse. You see, CPS is corrupt. They lie, they bring you up, they let you down. They're not your friend. They fool you and try to be your friend. They're bad news. They want to make money, Laura. And Laura says, yes, many tests, all clean. Okay, great, Laura. That is good news. Tessa says, I started a petition for California. Tessa wants to make changes in the CPS system. A year and a half ago, there was a rally in Sacramento, California, and people are protesting about CPS. There have been changes made in CPS, but we need to make some major changes. A lady named Nancy Schaefer, look her up. She was a senator in Georgia. She was in her 70s. And she died. She was murdered because she was fighting CPS. She was getting too close. They staged it. It looks like that she didn't die and her husband supposedly killed her. But the truth is she was killed. She was killed by an entity trying to protect CPS. They are bad. Now, she was an advocate. She wanted to make changes. In fact, she wanted to dump the whole CPS system. I don't think we need to dump it. I think what we need to do is that you start off with the training of these social workers. They need to have a college education. They need a degree in social work, and they need a second degree in clinical psychology, a minor. They can have a major and a minor. Then they need to go through training with that particular county CPS system. Then they need to be mentored with another experienced social worker for at least a year so they get to know the feel of the land. Just like doctors, just like lawyers, they all go through professional training. Also these social workers need to get a license. It has to be renewed every 10 years. And in the interim, they will come up with new things. So with everything that has to be done, that's the starting point. Another issue is they need to have a board of supervisors, directors at the county level, at the state level, and at the federal level to watch how the money's spent, to be accountable, to see if there's problems or changes. And there's got to be a better way to do a complaint about judges, about lawyers, and about social workers. I mean, those are some of the major changes I want to see happen. I don't want to really talk too much about that, but I know what Tessa's doing. Tessa also says they also ignore all of my family members who have put in for placement and place them with strangers. That's wrong. They can be charged. Your social workers can be threatened. Your attorney, if you got one representing you, he can be charged for negligence. That is wrong. That is so wrong. That is the number one thing. Family members and relatives are all part of the family process, and social workers need to have them in the family process. That is wrong. Again, Laura, I don't know where you're from, but if you could tell me, it would help me a lot. I don't have money for what I know about money. In 2010, I lost my job after working for 45 years. I had a beautiful home at the beach, private neighborhood. Each child of mine had their own room. They each had their own bathroom. And it was a 2-story mega home with a nice walk-in rock swimming pool, tropical garden on one side, a English garden on another side, and a dog run on the other side. And it was close to the beach, a mile from the beach. So I know about money. When I lost my job, it was through no fault of my own. And I've been struggling ever since. CPS has made my life miserable. They've ruined my credit. I had to sell my home on a quick sale to hire Vincent Davis to defend me and get my kids back. And so I know where it comes about no money. Right now, I am very little money right now. I'm paid Bangladesh wages, and right now it's very little that I make per week, and I have a lot of bills. I still have 2 of my children living with me, me and my wife. And unfortunately, the other 4 other children are grown up. 3 of them are older. One's in the 40s, 2 is in the 30s, and the 4th one is in the early 20s. That's the one that was taken from me, and it was revenge by a social worker. Now, Laura says yes. Okay, great. Then we got Tessa. Okay, do you have an attorney, Laura? I think she said, Tessa, she has a public defender. It's a court appointed. And right now, Tessa can tell you about court appointed attorneys. And she can tell you about that. Okay? So she has a court appointed attorney. Okay, Tessa says, okay, what type of a hearing is the next one? She wants to help you. Tessa is a good woman that want to help others. I helped her. This room helped me. Everybody's a family. So, okay, she's in Kern County, California, Tepache. I know where that is. You're not too far from Tessa France. She's in Shasta, California, Shasta County, Laura. So I know that Kern County is bad. And thank you for telling me that, because I've been trying to find that out. So, Laura, that's great. She has a deposition on February 6th, Tessa. And do you have any witnesses that you need to subpoena? That's one thing you guys got to learn about. If you're going to fight your case, you need to have people that will speak on your behalf, or that, for instance, you have a doctor that writes something, the doctor has to be presented to make that exhibit worth something. If you have a sheriff that didn't say anything, he has to be there. You need to subpoena your witnesses, and don't let them try the buffalo that you got to pay their fees. If someone's subpoenaed, they have to go to court. It's up to the agency they work for, get paid. And so I'm telling you, you need to have it. And that's something, attorney, you got to push the attorney to do the subpoenas. Okay. So Tessa's asking the witnesses, what witnesses do you have there, Laura? And I'm not ignoring the rest of the room, by the way. I'm not ignoring the rest of the room. Laura says, my mother was present when CPS took my kids. She's a good witness. She has to be there to testify. You need to have her subpoenaed. But if they come on their own, you don't have to have them subpoenaed. The only time you need to subpoena someone is when they won't come. And you got to force them to come. Okay, Laura further says, I've reached out to the ombudsman for foster youth and also on the hotlines. Well, I got news for you. The ombudsperson sometimes is in bed with the social workers of CPS. So ombudsperson sometimes I think are lost cause. There's a thing called a CASA in California, a court appointed, I forgot what the SA stands for, but they're supposed to be a friend for the children. Each children's got a CASA, the parents got a CASA, but all they are is big ears for social service. Everything you tell them, it'll bounce back to social services, to the child protection system. So you got to be careful of them. Tessa says, good. Do you have emails to prove that? If you have emails, that helps. That helps. Good. Laura says, yes, Tessa. She has emails. Tessa says, okay, my advice is to have your attorney, who I know that is a court appointed to do his job, file a petition to acknowledge the negligence. You got to have that done. That's very serious about that, Laura. Okay, Laura says. All right, Laura further says, in Kern County, yes, that's your case where it's at. So do I tell my caseworker that I'm continuing drug tests, but through my own provider? Well, you don't really want to give the information to social workers. You don't want to talk to social workers. The less you say, the better off you are. If you're going to talk to a social worker, have your attorney present. That attorney will tell you what you can say or not say. When you talk to a social worker, anything you say will be used against you. That's when you talk to a policeman. Anything you say, it will be used against you. So you don't want to talk to police. You don't want to, and if your attorney's present, that's a different story. That's a different story. Now, Tessa says, if you're in CPS and using and are willing, it's you choice. They can't order it, by the way, the drug test. It's because it's against your civil rights, but you can voluntarily provide a hair follicle. There are civil rights and constitutional rights. Go to the internet, look them up. What are my civil rights in California? What are my civil rights? What are my constitutional rights in California? Look them up. There's things that will protect you. Now, Tessa says, let me try to see that. You can also petition to have the courts address potentially family members for placement and request that inspect their homes for placement. What Tessa is saying is that you don't need to have foster care. You don't need to put the kids in foster care. Then go with your relatives. All you need to do is force it on them. CPS doesn't like it, especially if it goes out of state because they got to pay more money. Now, Laura says, won't they just say that? I'm not complying if I say I don't want to do the test? No, you don't have to tell them anything. Again, it's up to your attorney to speak on your behalf. Your attorney makes the decision what you tell the social workers. That's why you don't want to use court-appointed attorneys. They're lazy. The public defenders will not fight for your case. They want it over with because they got 29 other people to deal with. Now, Tessa says, further, she says, demand that your attorney file petitions, and to refuse them, you can sue that attorney for malpractice. Tell your attorney that you'll sue for malpractice if you don't do what I ask you to do, and get them in trouble with the California State Bar. That's what you can do. You can sue them and get them in trouble. And you say that statement to your court-appointed attorneys, they're going to work. They're lazy. They need to be kicked in the butt to work for you. And if you're going to use them, you got to make them work for you. You got to make them work for you. Yes, the judge can order you to drug test. If you're not using theirs, no reason not to. Tessa also says, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you from my experiences what they are most likely going to do and what you most likely need to do. I'm not an attorney. I'm just another CPS victim. Tessa is a mother fighting for her children, and she's going to help you. She's been on the show regularly, night and morning, and she does help. So, Laura, you have a lot of resources in this room. They have me doing parenting classes, which I'm halfway done with. That's normal. You need to do them. You need to go along with the program. I was denied substance abuse services due to amount of clean time, and I have random testing. Well, that's good news. You don't need to do that. Tessa says, how long of clean time do you have that does not matter to them? You're right. They don't care how long of clean time. Remember, these CPS workers are not your friend. They'll lie to you and they will let you down and build you up. They're interested in one thing, the trillions of dollars. If you don't want to know what a CPS worker is, all you have to do is go to the internet, type in 2022, the Pink Ladies of Prescott, Arizona. There are 8 white social worker women that decided to buy pink t-shirts. And on the front, they stenciled professional child kidnappers. And on the back, they said, parents, do you know where your children are at? And they parade around all the big department stores, Walmart, Costco, Kmart, Target, Best Buys, Sears. Well, I don't think Sears is around anymore. Well, in 2022, I think it was. Anyway, Penny's, May Company, all the big stores. They were caught and they were fired along with the director. That was 9 people that was fired out of that office, left with one person to handle the phone calls and the cases of children. And there are children. There's 1,000 children that go unreported every day. There's over 500 children that are being investigated in the United States for child abuse or child neglect. It's a serious problem. Now, not all of the cases are valid. And the reason why is we have 2 kinds of people that report the cases. We have the professional that are required to by law when they work with children. We have the other person, which I call the lay person. They are your relatives, your friends, your neighbors, your acquaintances. Professionals are doctors and lawyers, doctors and firemen and policemen teachers and principals and counselors and caregivers. Those are your professionals, and they have to report it. And so, you know, they're using it because other people use the call in for no good. Because you see, when you call in, you're automatically guilty. Like any other law that you're charged with, you're innocent till you're proven guilty. But in dependency court, you're guilty till you're proven innocent. So when someone says something that's far removed, the social worker will investigate it, but they'll talk to you as if you're guilty. So you got to be careful about that. Remember that. Now, Laura further says, and if I'm lagging behind, okay, since December 20th, if I'm lagging behind, it's only because my computer is lagging. So I'm trying to keep up with you. Tessa says, okay, then I don't see that being reasonable. All right. So she's telling you that, Laura. Now, I think I've got it all caught up. And I do want to tell you about some of these things in my room here. As I told you, and I repeat again, when you're in this room, please text your message that pertains to CPS. It could be a comment or a question. Also, please show your first name and your city or county your case was in and the state. Now, if you're from a country, please include your country, your province, or your state, because some countries have states and provinces. Everybody has cities, so, or maybe some don't have counties. Okay? And then if you want to be a guest on my podcast, you can email Grace, my show producer. She can be reached at grace@vincentwdavis.com. Grace@vincentwdavis.com. And she is a really great person that will help you. All you need to do is pick one of my 14 shows, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, evening, or morning. That's all you do. And you tell her, I want to be on Bob Pace's podcast on Wednesday morning. Then she'll send you back a link. The link will be to the application called StreamYard. We broadcast on YouTube, but we use StreamYard as the application. If you get on and then get knocked off, that link will still work for the life of the show. So it's very important that you come on and talk about your case. And if you can call in, the same thing too. Now, by calling in or talking, you're going to get a free 15-minute session with Mr. Davis. A free 15-minute session with Mr. Davis. So I'm telling you that if you want a private consultation with one of the best attorneys around, be on my guest on my podcast or call in. That's how you can do that. So remember, her email is grace@vincentwdavis.com. Now, I'm going to put my phone number back up and leave it on. My phone number is fixed now. I got Vonage to work. So I'm back in business now. So you're perfectly welcome to call in right now and maybe talk easier about your case. Now, there's some of the rules I've been talking to in my room here. Let me make sure I haven't missed anybody. So we have Laura from Kern County and we have Tessa from Shasta County. They're both in California. And Tessa's been on my podcast a long time. She's one of the family. Laura just joined tonight. And she is just new about this case. And her case has been going on since 2020. So anyway, we have about 10 minutes left of my podcast time, and I'll be over. There's 10 more minutes left. And so if you want to call in or keep texting, it's great. Now, I have 5 rules that I've talked about a little bit. Rule number 1 was get an attorney. And I cannot tell you how important to get that attorney is. You can call Mr. Davis. Give me one of them. You need to get 3 attorneys. You need to get 3 separate quotes. You need to talk to him about the chemistry. You have to talk to him. Vincent's all set up to go. He answers the 2 questions I tell you to ask each attorney. Question 1 is you ask them if they are a juvenile family dependency lawyer who has gotten children back and fought CPS. If they say yes to that question, the next question you should ask them is, have they done, after the case is closed, have they done a lawsuit against CPS and won money back from CPS? I don't want to tell you how much. If the answer to both those questions, yes, then you found the attorney you need to interview. And go ahead. Now, as I told you, you can talk to Vincent for 15 minutes for free. All you do is call in or you are a guest on my podcast. But rule number 1 is you need the right kind of attorney, because you're like Alice in Wonderland fighting CPS. You found the rabbit hole, you went in the rabbit hole, you met the Cheshire Cat, and the Cheshire Cat sends you all these blind rooms. You know, if you remember one room, it says off with your head. So it's a maze in CPS. It's a nightmare. I tried to fight them. I went to the director of Orange County. I went to the top dog. Got nowhere with them. They don't care. Their supervisors and managers and directors don't care. All you do is think about those ladies in the pink t-shirt from Prescott, Arizona. If that doesn't make it serious enough, there was a social worker in my case that committed perjury. Vincent Davis was my attorney. He was good at what he was doing. He caught her in a lie, a big lie, and she committed perjury. You know what that social worker did? She retaliated. She got a hold of my daughter at 12 and told her how to emancipate from her parents, change her full name to a new name, seal her birth certificate, get a new birth certificate, a new social security card, and get adopted by a foster care parent. Our daughter did all that. She was only 12 years old at the time. But she divorced us. She divorced her 3 other brothers, her 2 other sisters, her grandparents, both sets, her aunts and uncles and cousins, and all the other family members. She could no longer be a part of the Pace family. It's the saddest thing in my life. I dread it every day that social worker retaliated. So if you want to know a terrible social worker, all you have to do is that social worker, she committed perjury. And I had every right to sue her. But I ran out of money because I had sold my house in a quick sale to hire Mr. Davis. I had no money left to do a lawsuit. Let me see here. It seems like everybody's quiet down with the questions, and no one's called in tonight, which is okay. I don't like to put people on the spot. I don't. Now, rule number 2 is you need to organize all your documents together in a notebook, 3-ring binder. You make it as wide as you can, 3 inches, I think is the widest. And then you need to put subject dividers and notebook paper in there. And then you need to organize your documents, hole punch them, and put them in there. One of the most important documents can be there is called the timeline incident log. It's a log of all the incidents in a timeline format. And it helps you document your case, and it'll help you a year or 2 from now to look back and know what was said. Every incident you have, whether it's with a social worker in the CPS or a policeman or a school administrator, a school teacher, even family or friends, neighbors, even your children, whatever it is, any incident, you organize it this way. You first line, you put the date, the time, the location, and who was involved in the incident. The second line is a summary of what the incident is all about, a 1-sentence summary. The third line is the outcome of the incident, then skip a space and put the next incident and so forth. If you don't know the outcome, you can come back later, leave a space, and you can fill it in. But that will be good for you because in 6 months' time, you won't remember. You may have 50, 100, 200 incidents. But organize your thoughts and document your case, especially if you're going to sue them. especially if you're going to take them and do a lawsuit. So documents are important, and get all the documents. If your courtroom clerk will tell you how you can get them. If they want to the pay, ask them for low income. They can give it to you for free. My documents when stacked on were 3 feet high, so it didn't all fit. I did not do a notebook, and that was my mistake. I did rubber bands and big boxes. But you can imagine 3 feet high of documents and going through that and finding things, and use highlighters to help highlight stuff. Rule 3, I talked about don't talk to social workers. Don't let them in your house. Don't let police in your house. Don't give them permission. Too many people are being killed by mistaken identity or hot-tempered policemen. So that's another reason you don't want to open the door. If you meet them outside, be pleasant to them, but tell them that you want to have your attorney present. So you got to meet with them at another time. And meet at a public place, not their office, not your home, like Starbucks or McDonald's. And have your attorney present. Don't meet them without your attorney. And if you use a court-appointed attorney, tell them to get rid of their cases and defend you, or you're going to charge them with negligence. You're going to sue them. And I'm serious. They will work for you if you take a switch to their bottom and spank them and motivate them. Also, try to talk very little if you meet them outside, because what you say will be used against you. There's also something called medical trafficking. That's where you take your sick children to the emergency room of the hospital or urgent care. There are social workers that work in the hospital. They work for CPS. You got to be careful. They're going to tell you they need to take your child when they hear something and they misunderstand what they hear. So do not let them take your child. They have to have a warrant. And if you're giving birth to a child, don't let them in your room. Tell the hospital staff to get them out of there. They, again, need a warrant. But there's so many of you who have told me that. So that is medical trafficking. Be awful careful about it. Foster trafficking is bad enough. Alienation is against the law. CPS will alienate you from your kids. So that's rule number 3. Rule number 4 is you use the internet to find out information about things. You want to make sure that you word it right. It's very important. You start off with the city, then the state, and then the letters CPS. Now, if your city is a small city, such as Athens, Georgia, you may want to do Athens, Atlanta, Georgia. And then you put the letters CPS. And you'll see how much stuff pops up. But if you want to be more precise, put the thing you're looking for, like how to do a 388 motion. What is a 160 hearing? What is the ICWA law of 1978, the Indian Child Welfare Act? There is so much you can look on the internet. Spend 60 hours on the internet. It takes a lot of time to learn about your case and about the people that are accusing you. Look up names, look up their backgrounds. You need to fight them. You have to look at this as a real war taking place. They're going to use everything they can against you because their goal is to make money off of you. Your goal is to get your family back. If the family's back, they can't make money. That's why they fight you. Now, we have a new person that came in. I think I've seen the picture before. Let's see who this is here. Hold on a second. Leica is from South Africa. Oh, Happy New Year, Leica. She has come to this room. We have 5 mothers from South Africa, from the West Cape province, or I think there's several provinces that they all 5 are from. But Leica has actually called in and talked on the show about her CPS case. How's it going, Leica? Anything new developments? I hope your new year was good and stuff. So that is Leica. And she loves us as her family, and I do that. And she calls Uncle Bob. Can I phone in? I wish you could, Leica, but right now my show is ending. Can we do that tomorrow? I know there's a different time zone, and I really like to hear from you, but can you do it tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast of California? I know it's early morning for you right now, the next day. You've woken up or waking up or something like that. Or tomorrow night. But you got to come on now. Again, I'm on at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, p.m. I'm on at 10 o'clock. But tomorrow being Saturday, it's one of those days that I come on at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to be on at 8 o'clock in the morning, Leica. 8 o'clock in the morning. And you can talk to me on the show. I love to have you. On Saturday and Sunday, I'm on at 8. Every other day, it's at 10 o'clock in the morning and 7 o'clock at night. So thank you so much for coming in. And I understand. And God bless you, Leica. You're a beautiful person, and I care about you, and I want to help you. Yeah, I know you want to finish your story. She had a very traumatic story. I could not believe her story. She was terrible. Her daughter, was being sexually, how can you use the right words, by a 38-year-old man, and it was terrible. It was terrible. And so she'll come in tomorrow and talk about it. What's the time difference again? Oh boy, let me look that up. And I think my internet may be working. I don't know. Time in ZAF. Okay, it's 6:30 on January 4th right now. It's 6 o'clock right now, Leica. So that means it's right now 8 o'clock, so it's 10-hour difference. 6 and 4 is 10. It's 10-hour difference, Leica. 10-hour difference, if that helps you any, Leica. It's a 10-hour difference. Right now it's 6 a.m., a little after 6 in South Africa, and it's the next day, it's Saturday, and right now it's still Friday on the West Coast, and it's at 8 o'clock. So it's a 10-hour time zone that you're ahead of me, Leica, and God bless you. I want to God bless Leica says 10-hour. Okay, you're behind me. 10-hour behind. Yes, I'm 10 hours behind you. Okay, so God bless you all, and thank you, Leica, for coming. It's been a long time. Tessa, thank you so much for your help tonight with Laura. And Laura, thank you for opening up your heart and talking about your case. Both you and Tessa were really great talking back and forth, and you made the room interesting and great. I want everybody to be safe this new year. I mean, it's a new year, and watch out. The world is really changing. Keep your guard up. Keep your guard out. Keep praying to God, and He will protect. And don't give up fighting for your kids. God bless you, beautiful people. And you're going to listen to Vincent Davis in a short moment about his school and how you could see him and talk to him. This is Bob Pace signing off.
Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Faith, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for school, SKOOL, and this is the CPS school.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.